Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
You can put it on the board. Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMTV studio, AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks. The filet mignon, of course, the king of all. Those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes, best I've ever had, probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. Of course, nice round of applause for Uppercut Chops. They've been with us since the beginning. And welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Everybody else streaming on social media, thanks for joining us. Everybody else also on television, Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, and WOW Cable Television, plus Hotel TV from coast to coast. You know, today's a happy day for a lot of people in the baseball world, and it's because, of course, we have to precede this with a chorus of boos, only because every time Angel Hernandez's name, the scorned umpire, every time this guy comes up, it seems like it's bad news. And remember, this is the same guy that unsuccessfully sued Major League Baseball for racial discrimination. But guess what, folks? He finally retired. Yes. Absolutely. It's about time this guy just goes away and stops wrecking the game of baseball, because that seems to be all he ever did, cause controversy and mayhem, and I don't know. I don't know anybody that has liked this guy. It's not about being liked as an umpire. It's about being fair, following the rules, being reasonable. Now, this is from the Associated Press out of New York. Longtime umpire Angel Hernandez, who unsuccessfully sued Major League Baseball for racial discrimination, retiring immediately. During a career that lasted more than 3 decades, the 62-year-old Hernandez was often derided by players, managers, and fans for missed calls and quick ejections, some in high-profile situations as well. In fact, Hernandez issued a statement through Major League Baseball saying he has decided he wants to spend more time with his family, so he says. Okay, buddy. All right. So he says, quote, starting with my first Major League game in 1991, I've had a very good experience of living out my childhood dream of umpiring the major leagues. There's nothing better than working at a profession that you enjoy. I treasured the camaraderie of my colleagues and the friendships I have made along the way, including our locker room attendance in all the various cities, close quote. Well, buddy, not to say there's anything wrong with having those people as your friends. I think it's a great thing because, listen, every aspect of Major League Baseball is a very bumpy one. All the way going through the minor leagues, all the way through, whether you're a locker room guy, whether you're a field general, whether you're groundskeeping, end of day is a very, very, very difficult road across the board. So, look at it this way. Angel endured a 30-year career with a lot of bumps, and he goes on to say, quote, needless to say, there have been many positive changes in the game of baseball since I first entered the profession. This includes the expansion and promotion of minorities. I'm proud that I was able to be an active participant in that goal while being a Major League umpire. Close quotes. All right, and you know what? We'll give him a little round of applause for that, just because we can. And there it is. Anyway, last summer, you may recall that Angel Hernandez lost for a second time in his racial discrimination lawsuit against Major League Baseball When a federal appeals court refused to reinstate his case, the second court, the U.S. Court of Appeals, upheld the 2021 District Court decision that granted Major League Baseball a summary judgment. So, Hernandez sued in 2017, and he alleged that he was discriminated against because he had not been assigned to the World Series since 2005 and had been passed over for crew chief. And he served as an interim crew chief from 2011 through 2016. So, the second court said in an 11-page decision, quote, Hernandez has failed to establish a statistically significant disparity between promotion rates of white and minority umpires. Major League Baseball has provided persuasive expert evidence demonstrating that during the years at issue, the difference in crew chief promotion rates between whites and minority umpires was not statistically significant. Hernandez offers no explanation as to why Major League Baseball statistical evidence is unreliable. Close quote. Now, Yankees ace CC Sabathia blasted Hernandez back in the 2018 ALDS when Hernandez had 3 calls at first base overturned via replay in 4 innings. That's ridiculous. Sabathia said that the umpire is, quote, absolutely terrible, close quote, and questioned why Hernandez would be allowed to work postseason games. In fact, Sabathia responded to the retirement news on X with a Looney Tunes clip of Porky Pig saying, "That's all, folks." Of course, I'm not going to try to do the Porky Pig voice, if you know what I mean, because I'm not very good at that stuff. But the good news is, at least there's some sense of humor about this. Now, Hernandez was sidelined by back injuries last season until July 31st. This year, he was behind the plate 8 times, including for his final game, May 9th, between the Indians, or better yet, the Cleveland Guardians, excuse me, Cleveland fans, and the Chicago White Sox. USA Today and ESPN each cited an anonymous source reported Hernandez reached a settlement to leave Major League Baseball.
Show me the money!
All right, now we're talking here. In fact, USA Today reported the side spent last 2 weeks negotiating a financial settlement before coming to an agreement this past weekend. So really, it appears that he was paid to walk away from the game. Oh, and there it goes. Follow the money, folks. That's ridiculous. Of course, Angel Hernandez was born in Cuba, was hired as a big league umpire in 1993. He worked 2 World Series games, 2002, 2005, 3 All-Star games, 99, 09, 17, 8 League Championship Series, with his last LCS coming in 2016, and Game 3 of the 2018 Division Series between the Yankees and Red Sox. Hernandez had 3 calls, as I'd mentioned, overturned at first base in a matter of 4 innings. And you know, this goes far beyond the Angel Hernandez 3 calls overturned in 4 innings. I mean, there are scores and scores of horrific calls that have dealt with Angel Hernandez. And honestly, I think a lot of people, whether it's the players, the managers, the coaches, the owners, the GMs, I mean, hell, even the fans. Let's face it, there is so much controversy that surrounds Angel Hernandez. And honestly, I don't think baseball is going to miss this guy one bit. He has made seemingly one boneheaded call after another after another. It's just a parade of horrific calls and a comedy of errors. And if you look back at his calls, I mean, folks, I got to tell you, these things have been game changers. And the game changers, from no-hitters to God knows what, I mean, it's really been bad. So if we think about some of these calls, how about Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber really getting on Hernandez for his awful zone in all games after being rung up on a pitch off the plate in the 9th inning of a game. In fact, Angel Hernandez is retiring, quote, the account posted, "Never forget when Kyle Schwarber ripped him into shreds after a blown strike call," close quote. And look, that's one of 100 complaints or more. And look, you could go ahead and watch these things on pick your favorite social media medium. It doesn't matter. It's just one after the other. It doesn't matter what team it is. it always seems to be there's something. In fact, here's one that's kind of interesting. It says, taking the cake was Hernandez striking out Rangers rookie Wyatt Langford earlier this year on a pitch against the Astros that was so far off the plate that it may as well landed in where? In San Antonio. In fact, TJ Stats had tweeted, quote, in honor of Angel Hernandez's retirement, here is the worst call of the season, a strike three call that was way outside.
The home run, and on top of it, the hardest hit ball of his big league career.
Listen to this,
now
folks.
He's finding out about Angel Hernandez's strike zone.
What?
That wasn't even close.
That pitch called a strike. Wow.
Good at bat, some loud contact. 2 games in a row.
Oh my goodness.
This is crazy, folks. If
Angel.
you're watching this, you'll know what the hell we're talking about. These are the Angel Hernandez strike calls that are not even near the strike zone.
That's 2-1 Braves, 3rd inning. Tyro Estrada. Wow.
It's kind of a montage of some of
wide
these.
strike zone.
Long days feel a lot shorter.
Folks,
and,
these pitches
a
are
lot more
so
fun.
far off the plate that you're hearing. I mean, they're not even in the area
That's not even
code.
close.
Listen to this. And there's a strike right down the middle that was not called.
You cannot miss this bad.
Number 8 hitter with speed.
Was that a strike? Oh my gosh.
Up freely. So he's retired him twice.
Right
First time
down
against
Broadway,
this
not a strike.
That's strike
crazy.
3, folks. Yep.
And that one is not called a strike. That try to hold up his swing.
Man.
The full count.
Right down the middle.
Now
Ball 4.
That had every bit of the plate.
See, folks, the reason we're going through these, just for a brief moment, these are ridiculous.
Across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or a small selection of average and best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thanks, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Folks, this segment brought to you in part by the Sports Circus. Make sure you check out the Sports Circus for upcoming guests or prior guests, our recorded shows, which are podcasts that all can be heard in their full format, unedited, at thesportscircus.com on Spotify or at Audible or Google or Apple Podcasts. Pick your favorite platform where there you can't get away from us. Also, make sure you check out the SportsCircus.com's partners page. Lots of great partners on there. College of Southern Nevada Athletics is one of them. Been with us for about 8 years now. And thanks for them for the support for the Sports Circus. All right, welcome back to everybody on our TV and radio affiliates from coast to coast. Big hello to our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Welcome in to everybody that's listening over in Auburn, Alabama. That's home of the Atlanta Braves. Big hello to our friends. That's WAUD, by the way. Big hello to our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM, and everybody else from coast to coast. Just thought we'd throw a few of those in there. You know, the last segment talking about Angel Hernandez. You know, we even ran over on time, only because we could. And so we have a few more doozies here for you. The scorned umpire finally retires, but really what it appears is that there was a financial settlement agreed for him to potentially walk away. And that just happened. USA Today reported that. And so this guy has been at the center of horrible, horrible calls left, right, and center. In fact, here's one of them between the Chicago White Sox and the Miami Marlins. In fact, this one dealt directly with, let's see, Sports Illustrated's Jimmy Traina posted a clip of legendary former White Sox announcer Hawk Harrelson reacting to an epic Hernandez error during a game against the Marlins with a caption, quote, "Never forget that Angel Hernandez once damn near gave Hawk Harrelson a stroke," close quote. This was according to the New York Post. Make sure we give them a little bit of love here. So listen to this one, folks. Angel Hernandez, another blown call.
Uh-oh.
Can't get him. No!
He was safe at first.
No!
Well, Angel Hernandez blew the call, and the infield being back should have cost him the game. It didn't. Right there, he's safe.
He
does
safe.
Not have the ball.
And another blown call by Hernandez.
And that's what it's been, folks. That's what it's been, one after another. And let's not forget, probably one of the worst of all time, when Angel Hernandez, alleged umpire in my opinion, blows the Astros no-hitter against the Orioles.
If you've watched baseball, you've probably heard of the umpire Angel Hernandez and his suspect calls. We've got a 10-0 game here. Astros up in the middle of a combined no-hitter from Odorizzi's 5 innings and Christian Javier's 2 innings. Bialik on the mound ends up doming Hayes, but the no-hitter's still alive. Bottom of the 8th, 1 out still. And here comes Miguel Franco. So Bialik gets ahead of the count here pretty quickly, 0-2. And here's our pitch. Should have been strike 3. Was on the high side, but was framed really, really well by Castro. Broadway. And on the replay, it does show that it should have been strike 3, but Angel Hernandez probably has $50 or $100 in the over here, and it's like, I need a homer. To be honest, the Astros pitcher probably got a little lucky on that ball. It was a high breaking ball. Could have been
it was in the strike zone.
But here's the Astros coach kind of half falling asleep. So he's telling himself, don't throw high again. He's like, I'll do what I want. And he does. Same pitch almost, looks a little bit higher, and Franco smashes it out of the park. Ends the no-hitter, ends the shutout. Astros still get the win, but it's kind of unlucky. This guy could have been part of a combined no-hitter. Orioles are just happy that they're not the laughingstock of yet another lowlight. But thank you, Angel Hernandez, for ruining yet another historical, probable moment that could have happened.
Well, this is the problem. Angel Hernandez, look, we could gripe all we want and everything is founded. That's the worst part about it. And I'm spending a lot of time on this because he has changed a lot of things in baseball. I'm saying game decisions. I mean, arguably, he is the worst umpire in baseball's history. And I don't care who you ask in this, whatever, other umpires are not going to tell you. But players and coaches and et cetera, even the sports writers, they're all going to tell you the same thing. This guy has wrecked so many great moments in baseball. It's unbelievable. We could do a week montage of nothing but Angel Hernandez blown calls. And I'm not the only one talking about it, folks. And you're probably wondering, why the hell is he spending so much time? Because of the changes that have been made to Major League Baseball. I'm talking on a game-by-game basis. This guy's been called out by seemingly everybody, their brother and their mother, and it's all founded. And it's really embarrassing that Rob Manfred would let this charade go on for so long. Well, Rob Manfred is a whole nother discussion, and frankly, Rob Manfred, in my opinion, shouldn't even be the commissioner of Major League Baseball after tinkering with the game over and over and over. Let's use the ball. Well, of course, I can't say it's use the ball. Now, can I? Let's make the ball more lively, right? The live ball era. Let's make the ball a little bit more lively this year, and let's dial it down a little bit next year. Oh, we didn't get as much home runs this year, so let's go ahead and gas it back up again. And this is the kind of crap that we've seen. And now you take all of this stuff, you say, oh, that's right. We have, gambling. That's right. We have pick your favorite website, pick your favorite fantasy, whatever. They all do what? They offer gambling. Now, being here in Las Vegas, the gambling capital of the world, you ask yourself, is it necessary for gamblers around the world to gamble on every damn game or every damn pitch, seemingly? Well, you got analytics for this, that, and the other. And in my opinion, the analytics have wrecked the game. They really have wrecked the game because you're losing so much of baseball. But now the casual math person would seem to allegedly know a little bit about math and probability. And they say, let's bet on it. Well, I wonder if Angel Hernandez and some of the other umpires, now we've seen in maybe the NBA, we've seen game fixing. Now, I'm not saying anything about that with Angel, but what I am saying is that I wonder if there is any alignment with some of the calls that have been put out there by Angel Hernandez have coincided with some of the betting lines going a particular way, or I don't know. Think about that idea. What really concerns me is that our great game of baseball has been compromised over and over and over and has been tinkered with. I mean, look, we even have a runner on second base at the start of what? Extra innings. That's ridiculous. That's Little League Baseball. Pretty soon they're going to start to call foul ball on 2 strikes and out. I mean, who knows? The game has undergone so many changes, and we're forgetting the game that we all know and love and grew up with, and it's really turning into a disaster. But the umpiring side of it, probably the pinnacle of bad calls, the king of bad calls, the dubious distinction of the clown prince of bad calls. Call it what you will. I think Angel Hernandez is the clear-cut champion of terrible, terrible calls in Major League Baseball, and I would almost argue that he is probably the champion of convenient calls, even concerning those that have happened in the NBA and the National Football League, which we have seen some very, very questionable calls there that seem to align with point spreads and this kind of thing, whether it's overs or unders or point spreads on the games or quarters or whatever. Proposition bets. This is the kind of crap that I see, and I know I'm not the only one seeing it. So this rant about this horrific, in my opinion, umpire that conveniently decided to suddenly retire, seemingly because there was a settlement reached with Major League Baseball, apparently, and Angel Hernandez. And that was as reported by USA Today. That's not me reporting on it. That's just me echoing what was out there on USA Today, which is a source I really don't go to, but it is as widespread as possible and global as well, kind of like the New York Times. And so, listen, folks, this is really a happy day because now we won't have to deal with guys like Angel Hernandez, or better yet, Angel Hernandez, potentially making yet another terrible call that could do what? That could probably or possibly blow another game, maybe blow a no-hitter, maybe, I don't know, change a World Series game, change, who knows? It doesn't matter. All I know is the fans will be happier. The players should be much happier. The managers should be ecstatic. The announcers will be blown away because we will have less of these calls. Yes, maybe a little less entertaining because the announcers can go off on those terrible calls by Angel Hernandez. But believe me, folks, this guy really, in my opinion, put a black eye on the game of baseball and for the fans and all the lovers of Major League Baseball. All right, when we come back, we're going to jump into something a little bit different here. Why? Because we can, and we have something maybe Olympic-worthy coming up. So don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Back in just a few. I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus TheSportsCircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time. That's 800-950-2049.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing and always need to stick your fingers to test your blood sugar. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. Apply a discrete sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger sticks. If you are living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes and you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you might be eligible for a CGM through your insurance benefits. U.S. Med partners with over 500 private insurance companies and Medicare. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill your insurance. Call us today for a free benefits check.
800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the American Business Trust Company, helping companies with strategy, sales and marketing, capital resources, and establishing companies with physical locations or on the internet. For more information, contact the American Business Trust Company at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305, or check them out at abtrustco@abtrustco.com or info@abtrustco.com. All right, and a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And everybody watching on TV and streaming on social media, thanks for joining us. And you know what, folks? I told you in the last segment we're going to switch over to Olympics. How about this one? How about a Chinese doping scandal rocks the Olympic swimming and clean sport world? Oh boy, here we go. The Chinese are at it again. It seems like they're cheating. So, a potentially explosive doping scandal rocked the Olympic swimming world after revelations that 23 Chinese swimmers, including gold medalists and world record setters, tested positive for banned substances in the 2021 time and were never punished. Why is that? And the boos continue. The World Anti-Doping Agency, called WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, after 3 years of silence, why were they silent? Acknowledged the positive test, but sided with China's anti-doping body, which claimed that all 23 swimmers unknowingly ingested small amounts of the substance and were therefore innocent. What? Give me a damn break. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, we'll call it USADA, however, accused WADA and its Chinese counterpart of, quote, secretly sweeping these positives under the carpet, close quote. And investigations by the New York Times and German broadcaster ARD raised questions about WADA's handling of the matter itself and suspicious cover-up. In fact, Travis Tygart, the USADA CEO, called the findings crushing and devastating, and he said in a strongly worded statement that clean athletes, quote, have been deeply and painfully betrayed by the system, close quote. WADA fired back at threatening legal action in response to what it labeled, quote, misleading and potentially defamatory media coverage, close quote. China's anti-doping agency also called the reports misleading. I'm not really sure how they would call that misleading, but I'll tell you what, that sure seems ridiculous to me. All right. So, details of the Chinese doping scandal go like this. The positive tests all stemmed from a domestic meet at which China's top swimmers gathered 8 months prior to the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. At the meeting in Shijiazhuang, per the Times, the Chinese Anti-Doping Agency administered 60 tests on 39 swimmers. In a total, 28 of the 60 samples from 23 different swimmers contained traces of trimetazine, commonly known as TMZ, kind of like the TMZ, the 30-mile zone, the same heart medication at the center of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva's case. Now, more than 2 months later, on March 15, 2021, the China's ADA, their anti-doping agency, privately reported the positives, but asked swimmers' world governing body to, quote, keep athletes' information on the case strictly confidential, close quote. In that same March 15 email, which was obtained and reported by the Times, a top China anti-doping agency official claimed that, quote, initial reviews and preliminary investigation shows that there are not normal. These are not normal positives, close quote. 3 months after that, in June, 1 month before the Tokyo Games, China's anti-doping told the World Anti-Doping that the 23 swimmers had tested positive, quote, after inadvertently being exposed to the substance through contamination, close quote. Now, the World Anti-Doping, specifically per the Times and ARD, which is that German broadcasting organization, and the Chinese anti-doping produced a 61-page report in which it said that China's Ministry of Public Security, a public agency, a government agency, had investigated and found traces of TMZ in vents, spice containers, and sink drains in the kitchen of the Huayang Holiday Hotel where swimmers stayed during the meet in question. In fact, the World Anti-Doping Agency said, quote, it carefully reviewed the decision, of course collected unpublished scientific information on TMZ, and consulted with independent scientific experts to test the contamination theory, close quote. But it never sent its own scientists or investigators to China. Doing so, quote, was not possible, close quote. And the World Anti-Doping Agency said, due to extreme COVID-19 related restrictions. Why is that? Ultimately, the World Anti-Doping concluded that it was not in a position to disprove the possibility that contaminations was the source of TMZ, and the agency had said. Also, China's anti-doping explained as WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping, it was compatible with the analytical data in the file, so it cleared all 23 swimmers and never publicly disclosed the positive test. Now, wait a minute. It's stated very clearly, and this is kind of crazy, that the Chinese Ministry of Public Security, a government secured agency, had investigated and found traces of this TMZ stuff in vents, spice containers? What the hell was it doing in spice containers? And in sink drains. So therefore, if the contents in question, this TMZ, was maybe used as a spice, like a salt and pepper shaker, and then conveniently, kind of some of it went down the drain from plates and whatnot in this particular Huayang Holiday Hotel, isn't it reasonable to assume that the players were knowingly ingesting spices that contained this TMZ in the first place? Now, which Chinese swimmers tested positive is the question. Of the 23, 13 went on to compete at the Tokyo Olympics. According to ARD, 4 won medals, including 3 gold medals, and of course ARD published all 23 names. Among those who tested positive, according to ARD and the Times, were Zhang Yufei, a then 23-year-old star who won gold in the 200-meter butterfly and silver in the 100-meter butterfly, and contributed to 2 medal-winning relays, one of which set a world record. How convenient. Another swimmer was Wang Sheng, a veteran who won the 200-meter individual medley and became the second Chinese male swimmer to win an individual Olympic gold. The third one is Qin Huayang, who did not medal in Tokyo but set a world record in 2023 in the 200-meter breaststroke. So, China's most famous swimmer, Sun Yang, was not among the 23. He was and still is serving a years-long ban in a separate doping case. In a third unrelated case, back in 2014, Sun was also banned for 3 months after a positive test for TMZ. So what the hell's going on here? U.S. authorities clashed with the World Anti-Doping, saying, look, in subsequent months and years, whistleblowers raised concerns about the International Testing Agency and the U.S. Anti-Doping. The International Testing Agency, another Olympic-adjacent anti-doping body created in the aftermath of Russia's state-sponsored doping scheme, forwarded those concerns to the World Anti-Doping in 2022 and was initiated its own investigation. So honestly, here it says, in the U.S. Anti-Doping in 2023 also relayed a tip that the TMZ positives had been hidden in China, but the World Anti-Doping declined to reinvestigate, and has said that the U.S. anti-doping information was clearly erroneous, and it noted that the U.S. anti-doping had also contacted the World Anti-Doping in 2020, and WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping, said, quote, with respect to allegations, again, from unspecific sources of doping cover-ups, within Chinese swimmers, these allegations were, again, entirely unsubstantiated, and the World Anti-Doping advised that the threshold to open an investigation was not met, close quote. This is a bunch of garbage here. And so they continue on with all kinds of rhetoric, but I got to tell you, folks, this is really bad. This story goes on and on and on. This is one of those full show stories. And let's face it, the FBI also is interested in this case. U.S. law enforcement agency, according to the Times, has learned about the case and has taken steps to gather more information. And of course, under the 2019 case of anti-doping, U.S. Department of Justice has the power to prosecute foreigners who corrupt international sport via doping. Well, let's see that happen. Let's see the feds actually do something. Whether or not this is going to affect the 2024 Paris Olympics is to remain to be seen, but we'll see what happens there. Back in a few minutes here on The Circus. Lots more to come.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP-TV studio, AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by our friends, again, over at uppercutchops.com. And this one specifically is for their half-pound Wagyu, USDA Prime Wagyu burgers. And why are we talking about this? Because today is National Hamburger Day, folks. Yes! If you don't like hamburgers, well, that's too bad for you because it is an American institution. And today is National Hamburger Day, and hopefully you're going to go out and get yourself one big, fat, juicy burger. And if you're an anti-meat eater, maybe you get one of those vegan burgers. I don't know, but I tell you what, folks, this is one of the most glorious days in America because burgers are on sale everywhere. In fact, many places are giving burgers away. So, as a matter of fact, let's talk about the burgers for just a minute because, boy, these are something special. These are special. And when we think of the best burgers, we can go literally state by state. So what I did, I said, all right, let's find an impartial source, not a cooking channel thing, not a cooking this, or barbecue this, or whatever. Let's go to something really, really old school. Yes, you can laugh at me. In fact, I'll do it right now, just because we can. We went to Reader's. Yes, you got it right. Reader's Digest. All right, we'll give them a nice round of applause. Just because we can. And in Alabama, of course, we have a nice audience over in Alabama from Montgomery all the way over to the Alabama-Georgia line. Reader's Digest says Alabama's top burger is at Vicky's Lunch Van, believe it or not. And they say there may be tons of fast food restaurants in Alabama, but skip them. Head to Vicky's Lunch Van for your burger instead. As the name would suggest, was formerly a van, is now a physical location for Vicky's in our listening audience in Montgomery. All right. It says ask for a 4, 6, or 8 ounce patty with your choice of toppings, including mayo, ketchup, mustard, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and cheese, and either fries or chips. Looking to switch things up? The beloved Gunter Pile is a 6 ounce burger smothered with crispy grilled onions, gravy, and cheese served over a bed of fries. All right, that can be found at Vicky's over in Montgomery, Alabama. So we won't go through all the states because Alaska, I don't know how many people we have listening in Alaska. We will mention Tommy's Burger Stop over there. Moving on through Arizona, we have a really big audience at, well, there's a place called Rehab Burger Therapy. Yes. All right, I like that. And Rehab Burger Therapy is one of those places, if you've never been there, it's over in Scottsdale. They know how to make a burger. In fact, build the burger of your dreams at Rehab Burger Therapy, a beach-themed restaurant in Scottsdale, Arizona that offers a selection of 5 or 10 ounce patties made from custom blend of ground sirloin, brisket, and USDA chuck. Now, that's some pretty good stuff. And they've got some really interesting creations, such as the spicy mac and cheese burger. You know, some of this stuff should be tailgate food. Well, it is tailgate food. They should be served at some of these baseball stadiums and football stadiums and basketball arenas and hockey arenas. I think this is really good stuff for maybe suggestions for food at the stadiums. Because, I mean, look, we all go to games. And what do we like? We typically like the hot dogs, but let's give the burgers a fair shake too. Hot dogs are a real easy wrap it up and go, whether you're at a baseball, football, basketball, hockey, even soccer. It's easy to pack a hot dog into one of these carts and move 20 or 50 of them at a time. But the burgers, now it takes a little bit more work. So I like the idea of adding a little bit of spice, a little bit of variety to those vendors going up and down the seats. Whether you're at a Montgomery Biscuits game over there in Montgomery, Alabama, which I have been known to go to that stadium, and boy, what do you get there? You get buttermilk biscuits and honey. Boy, that's one of my favorites. In fact, that's the Montgomery Biscuits baseball team. That's the AA team for, Class AA for the Tampa Bay Rays. We get some really good food over there. But this, going back to this spicy mac and cheese burger featuring a hot twist of macaroni and cheese with green chilies, bacon, poblano peppers, and jalapenos. If spice isn't your thing, branch out with the PB&J and bacon burger, which comes topped with peanut butter, grape jelly, bacon, and sriracha sauce. I don't know about that stuff, but that's in Arizona. You never know what the hell's going to happen over there. That can be found at Rehab Burger Over in Arkansas, we have a nice audience there. Make sure to check out Big Oranges because they've got the big premium Black Angus beef half-pound monsters. And in fact, make sure you tell them the circus sent you over there in Little Rock. Now, over in California, which arguably Los Angeles, believe it or not, I've read this several places, is the home of the burger, which to me, I don't know about that. That may be laughable, but they have a lot of great burger places there. Now, an institution in Pasadena where they have the Rose Bowl for 60 plus years, a place called Pie and Burger. Now, this is good stuff. I've been there. They offer classic diner fare, 7 days a week, of course, to locals and burger tourists, alongside pickles, tomato, house-made Thousand Island dressing, iceberg lettuce, melted cheese is a perfectly cooked thin patty, best enjoyed at the counter with a milkshake and fries. Now, over in Chicagoland, I have to skip all the way down to Illinois. I'm going to find out what they have because there's scores and scores of places. We'll get to Hawaii in a minute. But in Chicagoland, they say there's a place called Au Cheval. Now, Hungry Diner, this is according to Reader's Digest, by the way. Hungry Diners talking about burgers here on National Burger Day, National Hamburger Day. This place, people line up for hours to get their hands on a burger at Chicago's Au Cheval. The single cheeseburger has 2 patties and the double has 3. Imagine that. But adding bacon and egg to complement the already rich combination of meat, pickles, onions, Dijonnaise is always a good idea. Looking instead for quality over quantity, well, check out Best All-You-Can-Eat Buffets because they've got those too. I would argue that the Billy Goat Tavern in Chicago is one of the top 4 burgers in Chicagoland. We have a huge audience in Chicagoland, but probably an even bigger burger, a better burger. And some people will not like this one because there is an Italian beef place called Portillo's, and they're popping up all over America. But the Italian beef is native to Chicago. However, the charbroiled bacon cheeseburger at Portillo's is arguably one of the top 3 burgers in America. Yes, I said it. One of the top 3 burgers in America. I have to say, I've had maybe one a little bit better in Williams, Arizona at a little neighborhood corner pub. But boy, are those good. The best ones I ever had was at Uppercut Chops. Pick up the half-pound monsters at uppercutchops.com or give them a call, 702-799-9935. Those are USDA Prime Wagyu. Yes, Wagyu. Not choice. These are prime Wagyu burgers. The best I've ever had, truly. Nonetheless, I would argue Portillo's in Chicagoland is easily one of the top 3. I don't know about this Au Cheval. Billy Goat Tavern is probably equal to the task as well. So I want to go back to Hawaii because we have a nice audience in Hawaii on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. Now, when Honolulu head to W&M Barbecue, which has been serving hungry locals and visitors since 1940. Burgers are basted with a secret tangy barbecue sauce, and you can't go wrong with signature Royal Hamburger, which arrives topped with lettuce, tomato, onion, and cheese. Better yet, give the Hal Special a try, and it features the same fixings as the Royal, but with layers of barbecue steak on top. And don't forget to grab a side of the crab macaroni salad made with macaroni, real crab meat, potatoes, and peas. We'll give them a nice round of applause. And that's for our friends over in Hawaii. And you know what? We don't want to forget our friends over in Georgia because right there at a gas station in Dunwoody since 2019, head out of Atlanta and into the suburbs for a can't miss NFA burger. Yes, they are operating out of a Chevron gas station in Dunwoody since 2019, and the spot has a simple menu that's well worth the drive. NFA grills its Angus beef patties to crisp caramelized perfection before topping them with pickles, mustard, and secret sauce, which is a sassy sauce, and cheese. It's all served on a soft Martin's roll. Yes, remember, this is National Hamburger Day, and I make a move. I would like to see these stadiums around the country for professional and hell, even high school sports and even amateur sports for Little League. You go to Little League parks. I would love to see more burgers than just hot dogs. Yes, American Institution is a hot dog, also a hamburger. But let's face it, in a day like today, when diversity is king, everything is diverse except stadium food a large park. Yes, we have hot dogs, we have some this and some that. We have the same kind of stuff. Some stadiums are getting better with varieties of food. I would say that Dodger Stadium has stayed relatively the same, but now Truist Park has made a really nice step over in Atlanta to diversify its food, which I do like that. Of course, they always get a round of applause from us. And even here in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, where the Vegas Golden Knights play, they have a very nice variety of food, but I want to see more burgers. I'm sorry. I think of sports, I think of hot dogs and hamburgers. I don't think of fancy schmancy pasta dishes and hoity-toity drinks and crap like that. Well, I'm not saying it's crap, but I'd like to see more traditional stadium type of food. Funny, I had this conversation with somebody somebody that was looking at an opportunity in South Florida, and stadium food came up. And that person was asked about their favorite stadium food by the powers that be. And it's interesting because we all have our own variety of what we like for stadium food. Me personally, this is just me. When I go to a hockey game, I like to get a bucket of popcorn. Yes, it's the proverbial movie theater $10 bucket of popcorn, but you see, you get a lot more bang for your buck. You get more chews per dollar with popcorn than you do with anything else. Think about all those pieces of popcorn in there, right? Versus a hot dog, you're maybe 5-6 bites and it's done. In some cases, you might be just 3 bites and you're done. With popcorn, you could literally get 1,000 chews for that bucket of popcorn. So we think about bang for buck and rising prices. Hamburgers, you get a little bit more chew than the hot dog, but also you get a lot more with licorice too. So let's think about that. And when you order your drinks, make sure you go to the bar. Don't get them from the vendor walking up and down the aisles, because the bar, you could tell them no ice. Because remember, those drinks, those soft drinks, they already come cold right out the tapper. So that's a nice little stadium hack by yours truly, your Ringmaster Sal, here at the Sports Circus. Well, folks, that's going to do it for today. Make sure you get out and have a hamburger today and support our good old US of A, one of our great foods. And also make sure that you check out all of our recorded shows at TheSportsCircus.com. Hopefully you enjoyed today's show covering Angel Hernandez. Of course, he always gets a nice big course of booze, and he'll be off into the sunset. And then, of course, the Chinese doping scandal again in swimming. But guess what? We finished out strong with great food and great burgers. We'll see you next time in about 23 hours right here on your favorite station. So until then, so long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus. Join me and Hall of Fame world champion and all-star celebrity guest for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms. Also, TheSportsCircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.